would like to remind everyone that this show is brought to you by the Dolphin Wars.
Good evening and welcome to King Dolphin Television. I am Raymond, the author of the Dolphin Wars series of books and ruler of the best pod in YouTube. I'd like to welcome you all to our stream. Again, we have, as you know, on Wednesdays we have interviews for the new people, and then Saturday we do some other good and fun things. But today we have another interesting interview. We are keeping with our artist theme this for the third week in a row, and I am pleased to have Charlie Zacherl here with us in the pod. He's a professional artist illustrator. He has illustrated books, and one of which I mentioned, we know the person, one of which is my friend Grace Ailey Kay, who created the VAC Chronicles. He did the illustrations for those books. Yes, so before we get going, as always, if you like what we're doing here at the pod, if you love these interviews and the fun that we have, please like and subscribe. And also, if you know people that I should interview, other creators, artists, musicians, etc., please send me their names so I can reach out to them. Also, if you are a creator, my email is in the description. My wrenches will get it out there. And now I'd like to welcome everybody who is here to the chat. First off, we'll start with the people who do it, who get things going, who keeps things safe. And we have our wrenches. We have the first in, last out, already asking me about questions. Patience. Legatus Legionii. We have Snortopupus Cubar. Mini Snorts on standby. And we had John Rendell, but he had to head out to another meeting. And we have our producer and our lead wrench wench. We have Sandra. Hello, honey. I hope you're doing well. And then we have some chatters. We have a couple newcomers. Welcome to King Dolphin TV 2, Short Film Sensei, and Michael Luker. Welcome. Please subscribe if you like what you're doing, what I'm doing here. And we also have Matt G. Welcome, Matt G, to the chat. So, how we do things, most everybody knows, and they disobey, is I will start out with questions with Charlie, and we will pretty much to break the ice and see how, and get things warmed up, and then we will open it up to the chat's questions. And then at that time, we'll probably start showing off some of his artwork. And Legatus is already put out. See the amazing artwork at your website. So
thank you.
He's already got it out there. So let me do one thing first. Let me do one thing so other people can know. Okay, hopefully the bot's working. It's working. So again, let's make some waves. Here's the thing for King Dolphin TV, and for all things Dolphin Wars, there's my link tree. So if you want the email address or to get more access to the Dolphin Wars, or if you want to if you're interested in a couple of the books, that would be where you find more information out on there. So, okay, so nice snort. I don't think I have you. I don't think I have your snort pooper stuff yet, but I will resolve that. So we shall get started without further ado. So Charlie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Active duty military, enlisted in the Coast Guard. I have a family of 4 children, constantly running around. But yeah, professional artist for longer than I'm here to say, over 20 years, and a writer as well. But yeah, you can find my art I illustrate books and independent horror movies mostly, also websites. I do a lot of logo work. This logo for 46 and 2, it's a hemp company. Did the Heartwood project recently. Yeah, just enjoy drawing, mostly dark art, horror art. Also, of course, ventured into romance with Griselda Kay, did her romance novels, and that's been a blast. Yeah.
Okay. What schooling did you go for your artwork?
I'm self-taught.
Wow.
Yeah, I took one art class my freshman year of high school. It did not go well. I was a little anti-established goth kid back then, so they were asking me to draw all these still works, and I would draw gargoyles and Metropolis Nines and things like that. So yeah, didn't do the art school.
Okay.
Then my grades weren't good enough to go to art college. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, what really inspired you to what got you started in your artwork?
Oh, geez. Old school role-playing game art, like Dungeons, Dragons, Monster Manual. Let's see, Larry Elmore, Call Cthulhu, Chaosium, the artwork in those. Artwork in Vampire the Masquerade was a huge influence, especially Tim Bradstreet. Once I saw his art, that blew me away. Bernie Wrightson I didn't even know who Bernie Wrightson was, but I picked up Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King as a little kid, probably too young to read it, but still read it. Yeah, the cross hatching that he uses in his ink details. He's passed away now, rest in peace, but he was the king, still is. Nobody touches him.
Okay. What is your basic art style? Is it?
If you were to mix photorealism, like modern photorealism, with old school colonial cross hatching, like Gustave Doré wood carvings, somewhere in between those two is my art style.
Okay.
I actually used to look at Gustave Doré's wood carvings. I thought they were ink illustrations, so I was trying to capture that style and ended up creating kind of my own unique style because, what you can do with ink is very different than what you can do with wood carvings, but I've kind of matched it.
Okay. And your medium, what medium do you use when you
Micron Prisma pens, like 0.005 almost exclusively, and then an ink brush. Yeah.
And you go on canvas or just paper?
It depends. I've done both. I've drawn on almost everything there is to draw on. I draw on like I'll wood burn and ink wood for certain commissions, whether those are custom gaming boxes or custom signs. I've drawn on canvas for like room decor and things like that. I prefer drawing just a standard 9.5 by 12 sketch pad. You scan that in, and it can, because of the style of my art, you can blow that up or shrink it down to any size. And anytime it's for a book illustration or art for movies, like I did a lot of art for Jonathan Chance and Eric Gardner for their horror films, and those are all originally on 9.5 by 11, and then they blow up to movie posters or they shrink down to online ads. really well.
Okay. Have you tried dabbling with drawing on iPads?
I did
Styluses?
a long time ago when I was kind of playing with the idea of going into corporate artwork when I had kids, and I was like, oh, I need to do something to get some insurance going here. This is before the military. And I had some buddies in graphic design and graphic art. And back then it was very different. Now I'm told that, the iPads can detect how hard you're pushing and all sorts of other things. But back then it was a whole different art style. You had to teach yourself from scratch. So it would benefit you not to have any skill if you're going to go into graphic design rather than already having a profession and then starting from scratch. So I just stuck with mine, and I like the feel of traditional ink. And I enjoy a lot of digital artwork. Most of Magic the Gathering's artwork is digital, so they can strip it down and shrink it to those little cards. And I love that artwork, but you can't beat the original, like Jesper Meerforce. Just those, like the paintings and the traditional ink, like the flaws in the ink is what makes the artwork. Yeah, for me at least.
Okay. We've got a lot of chatters who are into sci-fi. Are you into sci-fi, and if so, what?
I am. I'm in the most everything to different degrees. My friends that know me know that I'm uber critical about. It depends on the intentions. Like if it's a high-paid Star Wars movie or something like that, where your storytellers should be making tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to write a cohesive story, I'll be very critical. But if it's an independent movie where it's like made from scratch, you give it the grace that it's due. So like my tastes are all over the board. As for sci-fi, I mean, Stanley Kubrick stuff is definitely at the top, just like most people. I loved the original Fincher, or no, it's Lynch's Dune. I always mix Fincher and Lynch, but yeah, the original Dune was a masterpiece to me. I know it's different than the book at the end, but it's so it cleaves so securely to the book up until that twist at the end that I thought it was better. I know that'll get a lot of hate, but
I love the original Dune movie.
Yeah, I love the book, but I thought that adaptation of Dune was fantastic. Geez. There's a book called Beyond the Gap. That's phenomenal. Yeah, I like a lot of sci-fi. I'm a huge horror nut, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see, how long have you been working this craft?
Professionally, I sold my first real professional drawings to people I didn't know at age 17. So I started as a writer first. I would write my own poetry, books, comics, and I would be illustrating those. And then eventually, people saw what I was doing and started commissioning me to do their work. So I still write. I've been published in very, very minor publications because what I'm working on is one of those great American novel fairy tale things that may or may not ever get done. But I enjoy it. So artwork wise, I create a lot of illustrations for my own work still, but I'm mostly illustrating for other people's works. So yeah, 17 to now is 24 years. So yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. And we've gone over what types of art you've specialized in.
Sure.
Do you have so you've got projects all over the place. Can you say some of your current stuff right now?
Grisella K is still publishing her absolutely awesome romance novels. They're more adult drama. There's romance in them. And I'm very much enjoying illustrating those. I do the cover illustrations for, and I also do about 3 interior illustrations per book. Eric Gardner's films, I love recurring work with him. And Jonathan Chance, one of my favorite people to work with. I've done comic books for him in the past and movie work for him in the past, and he's still producing comic books at a high level. So I had to take darn near a year off for neck surgery. I don't know if you can see this beast, but yeah, I'm finally getting back behind the wheel on this a couple months ago. Never really stopped, but it was slowed down extremely.
Okay. And then, of course, your day job.
Yeah, I'm also active duty Coast Guard, so that takes up most of my time, and dad. But yeah, no, mostly I've been selling artwork off my website, all the original stuff for my things, and then the work I've done for others is all on my website, Zacherl.com. Yeah, that way people can, go there and get their own spooky artwork to decorate the walls for Halloween instead of your Michaels or whatever have you, like fake octopus skeleton. Yeah.
All right. Those are the questions I've got, and I see we have already got a couple questions out there. But first, let me share our screen. Snowy, we'll work on something. You gotta let me know what you want me to put on the bot. Chandelier lurker, yeah. Okay. So let's okay. Of course the okay. StreamYards. Okay. We'll just go to a couple here. Here is his illustration, his logo for his website.
Thank you.
And there's his first one. For those of us who watch Doomcock, I'm sure we recognize this character, minus a fez. But tell us about this one.
It's a Coast Guard RBS boat, 29, going up against Cthulhu, as we do. Our BMs go out there and they fight your Eldrazi and your Kaiju and keep America safe.
Okay. Only thing this is missing is no fez. Okay. All right. Let's go to the first question. I see you're mostly black and white with gray scales and the odd color added now and again. What was your influence that Frank Miller had when he did? Were you the influence that Frank Miller had when he did his Sin City graphic novel?
Coming from our own, man. Yeah,
Legacy
Frank Miller's a master. Yeah, no. No, Bernie Wrightson, Tim Bradstreet, those two would pepper in color on their black and whites, and then eventually they would allow people to color their stuff. But I always preferred their straight black and whites with little color splashes in there. Frazetta also, his black and white sketches are arguably better than his paintings. I love both, but the original sketches he would do before the paintings, phenomenal. And in a lot of those artists' process, they would do color splashes in the initials, not on the pieces that they would show off, but the pieces that were for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I didn't come across Frank Miller's black and white work until way later. I was familiar with The Dark Knight Returns and all that. I love those books. And his work with Tom McFarlane on the Spawn crossovers. Mm-hmm. I was huge into Spawn, but I didn't find Sin City until the movie. That movie was phenomenal, but by then I was already drawing.
Okay. Snorter Poopa says, "Good job. Keep the monsters under control." Let's see. Your Ghostbusters, if you line them up, does the green slime line you? That would be a great selling point if it get on all four images.
Good eye, man. Yeah, they absolutely do. Yeah, the slime spatter starts beyond behind Egon, I believe, and then Slimer's behind Peter himself. And the slime goes consistently in the same pattern between Ray and Winston as the middle.
Okay.
If you line them up, it's clear which order they go in.
Okay. Before I go to another picture, let's go to Michael Luker. Hello, sir. And welcome again. Welcome again to King Dolphin TV. Hope you've subscribed and like what we're doing here. He asks, any chance that you'll make more Norse-style art? And what are your thoughts of the new Rings of Power? What are you going as for Halloween? Or are you working?
All right. So first of all, Mike's another badass coastie. So
All right.
Norse art, yeah, always. I got the one of Thor and Loki, which has Midgard and Asgard, the serpent and Yggdrasil and all that in it. That's on the website. And then I have one called Allfather that's this enormous strongman bodybuilder friend of mine. His Instagram handle is Gingerbeard Barbell. He's the biggest man you'll ever see in your life. But he posed for me for Odin, and it's
wow,
it's one I really enjoyed. I got to tat him up and everything. But it has Odin's three-eyed ravens on all of the tattoos and the sigils and the runic they all tell stories from Odin's stories. And then, of course, he's standing like in this mythic forest on Midgard. But yeah, I love doing the Norse stuff. It's generally just what people commission me to do. So I've gotten lucky enough that I had those two commissions and really got to get into it. As for Rings of Power, I haven't started Rings of Power yet because I'm maybe regrettably neck deep into House of the Dragon, which is amazing so far. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop because they got me suckered in. House of the Dragon is phenomenal and absolutely my style. I want to watch one at a time. Once the House of Dragon season's over, then I'll start Rings of Power so like the two don't bleed together psychologically in my head.
Okay. All right, so let's go to I like this one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's Mr. Terrific. He's one of my favorite DC comic book characters.
Yeah, I like the little point on his head. Does he have that point? Or?
Yeah, so I don't know if you ever watched the Arrowverse. It was on, I think there's watered down versions of it. Sorry. Right now on CW or whatever CW is these days, but it started with the Arrow and the Flash, and both those were really solid. And they did Supergirl, which was solid. But the neat thing about them is they all connected. So every year, just like comic books, they would do like Crisis on Infinite Earths and crossovers like that. But Echo Kells, the guy who played Mr. Terrific, was so aesthetically perfect. Alex Ross, and there's a reflection on it now, but I have an Alex Ross painting behind me. He's one of my favorite comic book artists. He did this really iconic portrait of Mr. Terrific shoot probably 15 years ago, maybe more. And Echo Kells brought that perfectly to life. So I wanted to mix the Alex Ross image with the Echo Kells actor and put my style to it, and that's what this is.
Yeah, it's nice.
Thank you.
Okay, one more, and then I'll go to another question. Okay, this is rather gothic.
That's for one of my stories.
Oh, okay.
That's illustration for a scary story called Children of Autumn. But the kind of funny or ironic part about this is that's my buddy Sean's house from when we were kids, and got nothing but happy memories from that place. It's like a real life Scooby-Doo mansion, has hidden basements and hidden closets behind closets, and the actual sliding bookcases and everything. It was awesome.
Okay. Let's see. Legatus asks, have your tentacle images been from your time at sea or from love of Lovecraft/horror?
Love from Lovecraft/horror. My father was in the Navy, which is probably what caused all that. We were on every destroyer and submarine that would come into Chesapeake Bay Harbor, Virginia Beach. Yeah, he would have us touring all those as kids. So just seeing his love for the sea and hearing his sea stories caused my love for the sea. For me, I'm in the Coast Guard, but I'm a landlubber. I'm in a command center doing search and rescue planning and sending out the assets. We get all the calls, distress calls and stuff like that. But other than a few times for training or for tours, yeah, I haven't gotten underway.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it why you ended up in the Coast Guard as opposed to the Navy, but I guess that's why you're a landlubber.
So far.
Yeah, so far. Okay. Snorter Poopus says, catching drug runners, saving boaters in distress, monitoring boating safety, and defending the world from the elder gods, all in a day's work for the coasties.
Exactly. Not in that order.
Okay. Hello, Lord Thoth. Welcome aboard. Glad you're here. Lagan's Legion, I ask, when I see when you do add some color, the majority of the time it's red. Why red?
It just pops way better. And oddly enough, later on, as I was researching other artists, Glenn Danzig, who's a musician and artist I respect a lot, he used to make all of Misfits' original artwork. And in those, it's always black, white, and red, or black, white, and yellow, something like that. And there's psychological reasons of why those attract the eye better than other colors, but they just do. And I've used most every color subtly, like in a lot of my book covers that have more intricate borders and things like that. There are colors in there that are hidden, that are purposely not to attract the eye. They're just subtext. But when I want it to pop, yeah, red is the color. Oh, I think
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know Glenn Danzig was an artist.
Yeah, he does both. He's done comics for decades. Barotic. He produces a lot now. He's made some wonderfully terrible horror movies that are fantastic. If you like bad horror movies, they're phenomenal.
Okay. I only knew him from his music. I'm like, whoa. Learn something new every day. Okay. Short Film Sensei asks, are you working on making a new novel?
I am. So that is Cameron Curran. He's a director I've been working with for, years now. We've done some of my favorite pieces. The Lost in the Wilderness piece that I sent you is for his film Kushtaka. It's an Alaskan horror movie. It's very noir, really atmospheric and amazing. But yeah, I've been working on, I don't want to say too much about it because it's in the process of reviews and getting it towards publication. But yeah, my novel is going to be an illustrated novel. The kids these days call it a novel in verse. I prefer the more archaic. It's an epic. The whole thing's a poem. Very spooky poem.
Okay.
So the words are artistic as well as the illustrations.
And as long as we're talking about novels, how many novels have you actually published? And I take it you have done self-publishing.
No. So this would be my first novel. I've published short stories and poems in various magazines. Morbius Morpheus Tales. Almost said Morbius Tales, like the vampire. My kids are really into making fun of Morbius. So Morpheus Tales, Postmortem. Yeah, I had more success publishing my writing in the UK than in America so far. But no, I haven't done self-publishing. I watch how hard you guys work for that, and that looks like a whole lot.
Yeah.
Once I'm retired, maybe.
Yeah. Snort says, red highlights stand out in a basically black and white drawing. Yeah. And Pudgy Hedgehog, this is a very important question. Chocolate chip or peanut butter cookies?
Oatmeal craisin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's a Safeway in Kodiak, which isn't a real Safeway. All the Kodiak stores are completely different. And they had these from scratch, what I thought were oatmeal raisin cookies, but they're these sugar oatmeal craisin cookies that are ridiculous.
Ooh, yummy.
But even above that, gingerbread.
Gingerbread. Okay.
Yeah.
The answer has been Pudgy. We got your answer question. Your question answered. All right. Let's see. Let's go to another picture. Oh, you got to tell me about the. Oh, it's got a Cthulhu or an octopus on her leg. Wow. Okay, you got to tell us about this one.
Yeah, if I don't recommend trying to do it on here, but if you get the art and you're looking in at the leg is its whole other illustration included in the illustration. But there's a story by H.P. Lovecraft called Pickman's Model, where there's an artist Pickman that was kind of like a almost like a Norman Rockwell, where he used live models and everything was beautiful and he got famous off of it. His artwork was perfect, and then all of a sudden he became a recluse and nobody saw him for 8 years or however long it was. And there's this art professor that's trying to track down Pickman and find out what he's up to now, because now for the past 8 years, he's been putting out these horrific mythos type paintings of these gruesome creatures and scenes, but they're just as realistic as when he used live models. And all I did was a gender swap inspired by that story where, it's Pickman's Model.
Okay. Oh, this would make a hentai lover really.
There's that.
Yeah. Let's see. Short stories or full-length novels? Now, how many stories have you written? I think we've answered that. But how many short stories?
Oh, geez. I kind of do the Tolkien thing where I rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. So they're the core ones that are making up the novel I'm working on have been rewritten over 2 decades. But the ones that have been published, not too many. Probably, I think a total of 8, maybe 9 have been published. That's it.
Okay.
The artwork has worked out a lot more for being able to do it quickly, put out a finalized piece of work. For my writing, I want it to be a certain, I'm probably not going to seek publication until after I retire, less strings attached. So,
yeah. Okay, and let's see. Pudgy says hello.
I love the hedgehog.
Yeah, Pudgy's cool. Michael says, hopefully that novel comes out after I leave Alaska.
I can tell you scary stories.
What's with Alaska?
What you normally hear about it is true, where there's just long, long days and long, long nights. Kodiak is the least of these. Honestly, it's probably the mildest because you get the Hawaiian Gulf winds coming across. So you'll get like 80, in the summer, you'll get some days that are in the 80s. But in the winter, it gets down. There were days where it was -30, legit.
Oof.
Or nights. I'm sorry, nights. And you knew that you and the pet stay inside on those nights. I mean, you dressed for it, but like on those 4 months of black where you just get like maybe an hour and a half of twilight from like 1 to 2:30, and the rest is pitch black night. Yeah, there's a lot of creepiness going on in Alaska.
Okay. All right. And hello, Pierre Kelly. Let's see. Let's see. Words of every coastie. I'll get to it when I retire.
Amen.
I doubt Pudgy has ever made a cookie he doesn't like. Yeah. We do devolve into food talk at times.
I love food as well.
Raymond hasn't mentioned any snacks he doesn't like. Okay. Especially now it's getting close to baking season. Legatus Legionized says, I see one diva from WWE. Why Alexa Bliss? And have you ever thought of doing other divas as well? And what about the men? That's a good question.
I think the why Alexa Bliss will be obvious.
Did you send me that one, or is that on your website?
That's on my website.
Okay.
And I've done a lot of wrestling, not just WWE, but and MMA. I've actually been blessed enough to have some, like, I had Ken Shamrock commission me through a liaison for a portrait of him. I actually got that sucker. It's on the website too, I think. That's this guy. I don't know if you see it. And then I'll expand it.
It's
on the website. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Well,
whoa.
See, not red, blue. But that was the request. And then had 3 portraits for Conor McGregor when he won both championships. Those were commissioned by his manager, Audiatar, through a mutual friend, my buddy Matty. And then, but all the WWE stuff, those might have been me pushing commissions because I'm a huge wrestling nerd. I love it. Not just WWE, but these days AEW. Back in the day, it was mostly WCW. Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt are probably my favorite illustrations that I've done to date. The Bray Wyatt illustration, although they kind of crash and burned his story, I'm really proud of the illustration. I think it captured a lot of what he was trying to go for.
Okay. Hail Pierre Kelly, if I didn't say that already. What about this one before I go on with the remarks?
All right, so that's the ritual. That's a mix. That was a commission that I was open enough in detail. They just wanted a beautiful witch woman. That's all they wanted. They let me kind of do whatever details I wanted. So my friend Elisanthe posed for it. She does phenomenal work. And then I was able to do it in a way that it illustrates, again, my stories. So, dual purpose.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice picture.
Thank you.
Okay. Pierre Kelly asks, let's see. Well, let's go back. Short Film Sensei says Alaska is home of dark nights and spooky stories. Ooh.
This is true.
And of course, Snort says, I have a lot of cousins in Alaska. Well,
Beautiful.
Kind of obvious. Pierre Kelly asks, how did you guys get into illustrations?
Again, just seeing the black and white work in the old school TSR and Chaosium role-playing books. I think that's my first memory of it, of getting hooked into it. My oldest brother, Jeremy, was really big into D&D. We had to keep it secret from our parents because the church thought it was satanic at the time. That's a real thing, in case people didn't live through that. That was very real. So we had hidden up above the puzzles that nobody would get out. But looking through those when I was really small, there's something magical about those pictures. That I think the current artwork, although beautiful, doesn't capture the imagination the same way.
Okay. Short Film says Air Station Kodiak is where I saw Charlie's first piece of art. That's how I found out about his cool style.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I love working with Cam. Again, his films are such a blast. Like he lets me do a lot of interpretation. Yeah, it's super fun. I can't wait to see The Fisherman. If I was supposed to say that, but
hey, Short Film Sensei, send me your email address. I'd love to interview you.
yeah, he's one of the ones I was going to send you after this.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there's a short list of folks I think that would enjoy this.
Oh,
And
please do.
He also has his own podcast too that if you go to that link, he does interviews with directors, and those are really fun as well. So I think you guys would get along very well.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Short Film, let's make it happen.
Heck
I
yeah.
got some open dates in December. Pudgy says he went to Kodiak and met the mother of all bears there. She's nice, but Port Lions is out of adult beverages. Like Sandra said, you do not need adult beverages.
I don't need to meet any polar bears if that's what you're asking. Kodiak bears are okay. Kodiak bears kind of keep to themselves. They might steal your fish and then walk away, but as long as you're not messing with them, they don't mess with you. Polar bears, I had to get shotgun qualification just to make sure that they wouldn't eat us. We're going up to Barrow.
Let's see. Snort says she looks friendly. Yeah.
I wouldn't try it.
Let's go. Oh, where's Fett when you need him?
Heck yeah. That was before the series. I'm, just like most Star Wars geeks, I'm a huge Boba Fett fan. This was before The Mandalorian, before all that. I did it's currently 3 parts. I do intend on expanding it, but right now it's like a good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's Mal from Firefly, Doc Holliday from Tombstone, and Boba Fett. And they all have the bold red background behind them, and they're all in a gunslinger pose.
Nice. Let's see.
So yeah.
Okay, I think this
about
is
science fiction. Firefly is probably my favorite ever.
Lagana says, no, that image you have shown, I do see in your art gallery. Yep.
Awesome.
Let's see. Laganas asks, have you ever drawn your own version of the various creatures from D&D?
Yeah, so like a lot of these Lovecraftian monsters, I didn't read Lovecraft as a kid. I didn't realize that I was reading Lovecraftian things, but Dungeons and Dragons takes as much from Lovecraft as it does Tolkien. And then Chaosium, of course, is straight up Lovecraft, everything that they did. And then I remember I had my brother Tim and he had a Minotaur toy and I had a Roper toy. So that Roper is basically like a Shoggoth or crawling one or something like that from Lovecraft. And that was my toy from Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, like my first introduction to Lovecraft where I really heard the name was through John Carpenter. His interpretation of The Thing, and of course in The Mouth of Madness, that type stuff, and Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, did we ask this one? Yeah, we did. So you haven't drawn any of them?
No, they're all in there. They're just my versions of them. The Roper in specific has made its way into many. I think I sent it to you. There's an illustration for the Dunwich Horror that's basically a D&D Roper.
Yeah, what? Okay. All right. Let's see if I can find it.
There it is.
This one?
Yeah. So Ropers, Displacer Beasts, all those type of things, very Lovecraftian. They got all their tentacles. They're coming in and out of dimensions, interdimensional beings. But this specifically is an illustration for the Lovecraft story, the Dunwich Horror. That was commissioned. My friend Allison, she's an amazing dancer. She posed for this graciously, and she was completely cool with the monster eating her.
Oh, Okay.
I didn't have to pay residuals because of that.
What Michael asks, what board game that you play has the best illustrations, and what was your kid's favorite? What is your kid's favorite board game?
Right now, my kid's favorite board game is probably Hero Quest. We've been playing. I grew up on Hero Quest. It's very like stripped down Dungeons and Dragons. No setup. You can just get right into it. And that's, I mean, they started playing that when my oldest was 6 and my second oldest was 4. And we're playing it now with the new version of Hero Quest. I'm nodding at the table because it's literally on the game table now. But best artwork, Fantasy Flight Games, their Arkham Files artwork is so above and beyond. All the theming in their games, that's Elder Sign, Eldritch Horror, Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, and they did a card game as well. But their entire line of games, the artwork is just mind-blowing. The Arkham.
Okay. Legata says, do you still play D&D? If so, have you ever drawn your own PC?
Yeah. So I play D&D probably once or twice a year. Not as much as I would like. I like, because as you get older and you get into jobs, specifically my job is shift work. It's 12-hour shifts and they're constantly rotating. So I can't be a member of, or at least I feel bad if I sign up for a weekly or bi-weekly group, because then I'm never going to make it consistently. So I just don't. And at conventions, I like to play or run Dread a lot. I've become a huge fanatic for Dread. 10 Candles is another one that is like just those storytelling games that are less crunch and more narrative. I enjoy a lot more, where it gives you freedom to create your character as much as you want and as detailed as you want without really stern limitations like D&D does. My favorite D&D character construction was when we did Gestalt characters, which, you know, I know that's a deep cut probably, but like it expands your limitations a lot more so that you can kind of customize your character better. But yeah, I always draw my characters. And all of my characters, of course, are either were the inspiration for what became characters in my book, or are characters I pull from my book that I want to explore their psychology a little bit more. So I'll create an aspect of them from a certain part of their timeline, and I'll role play that in the story to try to get in their head a little bit more.
Okay.
So I always draw them.
Okay.
There's a lot of those on the website.
Snort says, have you ever done any of the dark themes from Middle-earth? The orcs, Nazgul, Barrow Whites, blood-drinking vampire hobbits? So
I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan also. Those movies are what kind of introduced me to my wife a little bit. Sort of, they had a hand in there. The Hobbit is, of course, the first real novel I ever read as a kid, and it's probably still the best I've ever read. It's just so well written. For artwork, again, I feel like Tolkien, D&D, Chaosium, all that stuff is in everything I do. I don't think I've specifically been commissioned to do a Lord of the Rings project. I would love to do that though.
Okay, now this is labeled the Ladies of Star Wars. Okay, I get the...
This was before the stupid Palpatine reveal. Just sorry for anybody who liked that movie. My camera decided to crap out.
Oh.
Apologies. But yeah, this is before the Palpatine reveal. So probably right after The Force Awakens, I drew this.
Okay.
You want me to see if I can sign out, sign back in?
No, that's fine. We can go with your avatar. Unless there's let's see. Okay. And then let's see. One more and then we'll go back to questions. I don't know what.
There we go.
Okay, this one here.
Well, that's Pennywise, man.
Pennywise?
And Matcher in the background. So speaking of books that I read way too early, I read Stephen King's It, which if you haven't seen, it's like bigger than the Bible. It's a huge book. I think that's why my parents let me read it. They said, "Oh, he's advanced reading. He's reading this thing way out of his, reading." Well, yeah. So I read that in the 4th grade, and scared the bejeebus out of me. So dang good. The book is way more frightening than any of the movies could have possibly done. As amazing as Tim Curry was, and Bill Skarsgård, the way the book went into the inner psychology of the kids, because there's many kids that were victims. Like in the movies, they pretty much just show you the hero kids. Like once or twice, they'll show you briefly a kid that gets got, or the aftermath of one of those. In the book, there's dozens of those where you think it's a main character or going to be a main character, and no, it's not. Because you get to know and love the character before Pennywise gets him. Yeah. So Matt, I'm a huge lover of the book. So behind it, even though this is clearly based off of Bill Skarsgård's performance in the newer hits, the background, the galaxy and stars form Matcher, the turtle entity that's kind of alluded to in the new movies. But
I see it.
Yeah, he plays a huge hand in the books. He's the one that all of the power comes from, the ritual of Chud, all that stuff, all comes from that entity. It's a Weaver in the Wild type relationship. And then on Pennywise, I added the spider eyes because although the original movie botches that so terribly, in the book, he's this eldritch horror that the only way that the children's minds can fathom to perceive him is like this mutant spider. Because what he really exists as, they can't even perceive, or else it'll melt their brains.
Okay. Let's see. Goddess says, Doc Holliday play for blood is that other image?
Yes, it is.
Pierre Kelly says, why the name CE?
Charles Ernest. It's my initials.
Okay. Legata says, I am more an advanced hero question when it comes to D&D like board games. The random rooms and counters. Woohoo. Yeah,
so Advanced Hero Quest, I agree. They haven't redone Advanced Hero Quest, and they might not because of licensing issues. But and right now it is so expensive to get a hold of those originals. I have the original Hero Quest box, but I don't have any of the original Advanced Hero Quest games. Those with the Skaven rat creatures and stuff, like it was exactly what it should have been. Took an amazing board game and added stories to it that made it even better. So I'm hoping they redo those, or I can find copies of it at a hapless yard sale or something.
Okay. Let's see. The guy says those three are still the ladies of Star Wars, Padme, Leia, Rey. And he asks, have you both versions of the clown from It or just the most recent version?
The person that commissioned this asked for the Bill Skarsgård version. I just added the book elements. I asked first if I could, and they said yes. But I added the book elements in there. But I haven't been commissioned to do the Tim Curry version yet. I would love to do that. It's hard because the new version did so many things better. But Tim Curry's performance, you could see why children will be attracted to him, charmed to him, and then just terrifying. There's Griselli K's work. That's probably my favorite that I did for Griselli K. And I love all the ones I did for her, but it has that red and yellow color pop that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, her book covers are always a blast to do.
Cool. Let's see. Pudgy says, Pudgy roll 1d6 for peanut butter cookie nibbles. Okay. Okay. Legatus asks, on average, how long does it take to make the black and white illustrations?
I mean, it depends. Like, there's these larger ones behind me. That is a book cover that I don't even know. I lost count at over 100 hours, but it
This one
has,
here?
yeah, if I can point in the right direction, that one right there. There's the original for the Pennywise. But,
Okay.
and Pennywise was easily 120 hours. I mean, that's all, none of that is solid black. It's all individual cross hatches, a .005 pen, whereas that is the border along that. And it's on the website, but the border along it is all about 36 scenes from the book, all intricately drawn into a Celtic knotwork border. And then again, no solid black, it's all cross hatching.
Wow. Okay. Laura Thomp says, great art.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. And we shall go into some, let's see. While we're waiting on more questions, this one here, I like this one. Oh, it didn't go. Oh, I know why. Okay. I like this one.
Thank
This
you.
one. What's the? Oh, I like. Okay. There's script in the back.
Appreciate it. So
What?
again, that's a dual purpose one. The original commission was for something inspired by Dreams in the Witch House, but they wanted a take of the witch where she was young and beautiful. So the Dreams of the Witch House, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I think that's definitely the scariest of Lovecraft's short stories. It's pretty brutal. The witch Keziah Mason is very brutal, but they wanted a beautiful witch, so I made a beautiful witch ascending the stair to a decrepit house. Yeah, it was an absolute blast to draw. And then the writing in the back, I asked them if they wanted excerpt from the story, and they said they wanted an excerpt from one of mine. So I mixed the two.
And what's the cat story?
Black cat. She has a black cat in the story, so there's one beside her.
Oh, okay. Let's see. And Pudgy likes your pictures.
Thank you, Pudgy.
All right. Okay, let's see. I think we're getting. Guys, keep on bringing on these questions. We talked about this one in the back room. Tell us about this one.
All right, so this is True Detective Season 1, which if you're a fan of anything noir detective stories, true detective stories, because that's, and people these days might not know, but that's an actual genre, an old school genre like weird fiction. True Detective was an offshoot of that. And this series is probably the best thing that's ever been committed to television that isn't Firefly. But it's right up there with it. But yeah, it's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson in the best roles of their lives, which says a lot because they both played amazing characters. It's a dark, very real, based on unfortunate real events, mystery and massacre. These two detectives, Louisiana State Troopers, are trying to find the core of this nasty kind of cult and child slavery ring. And to sort of not water it down, but to make it more palatable, they remove a lot of the worst parts of the real story and they replace it with like sort of Robert W. Chambers or H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu cult, a cult of Aster the King in Yellow. So like they don't outright say that it's Lovecraftian or anything like that. But anybody who reads those stories or reads Robert W. Chambers, like you kind of feel like you're in the know because you know where all the crazy writings on the wall, they're all excerpts straight from those stories. And you know what the cult is, and it makes it scarier.
Okay.
It's very good.
The goddess asks, you have mentioned Frazetta, and he did some more tasteful adult content. Have you ever considered doing some more revealing illustrations, or is that per commission only?
Per commission only.
Nice try, Legatus.
Yeah, I have kids. I try to keep my stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to get on the website.
Yeah. Okay. This one.
That's one of my characters from one of my stories. That's the Vagrant. She is, and the image is kind of self-explanatory. I don't want to give too much away on it, but she seems like a sort of cliche stoner girl, and she's anything but.
She is a nice looking vagrant. Okay, this looks interesting.
So that's a tattoo design request for a very good friend of mine. Her and her husband wanted, instead of matching tattoos, kind of, I don't know if you've seen Battlestar Galactica, but
Yeah.
they had the tattoo that would line up when you were next to each other, that thing, and that's what she wanted. Hers, she wanted to have sugar skull sensibilities without being a sugar skull, and his, he wanted the Coast Guard MK, the mechanic insignia, which is pretty metal because it looks exactly like the Empire insignia from Star Wars. So it was a blast to do, and they did exactly that. And the tattoos, their artist that adapted this did a wonderful job. It looks beautiful on both of them.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Pudgy says, revealing you mean when nice lady doesn't have shirt on, Pudgy always sees these little fuzzy squares. No, you don't need to be saying. Yes, Pudgy, censored for your protection. Yes.
Just cover those tentacles and you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think that's all. No, there's more. Well, I like this one. What?
That's straight up channeling Frazetta. I mean, it was a book cover. Yeah, the book is called the Aster Chronicles, I believe. I feel terrible for butchering that. But that's another one where I'm lined up to do future commissions for them, and I'm excited to do it. This one has not come out yet. Astrid, I think, is the name of the character. But yeah, she's got a kind of a warg familiar, and yeah, it was just awesome to draw. Another one where they gave me a lot of freedom. They just said, make her beautiful but not petite, and include the wolf somewhere. And I asked if I could include a waterfall. I don't know why I wanted to draw a waterfall, but I did. I thought it would be really good for the piece, and they said yes. Yeah, it's just fun to do. I always enjoy adding tattoos, like artwork within artwork. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's a really nice picture.
Thank you.
And let's see, the blade's got some energy coming out of it.
Yeah, like kind of old school Jim Lee Psylocke style.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice doggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. With red eyes. Or at least one red eye.
It's to imply a little bit of a mystical nature.
Okay. Hello, Grace Sally. How are you, dear? Good to have you here.
We've been talking you up.
Yes, we've been really talking you up. And he showed off one of your illustrations, and please subscribe to, or please look into her books, the VAC Chronicles. Yes,
They are awesome.
Yes, they are. Yes, Sandra, it's great to see her. And she says, Tome of Aster.
Thank you. Jeez Louise.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Check her stuff out on her Amazon site. And again, it's always good to have you here. Legatus asks, when you do these images within images, for example, tattoos, do you first draw them separately before adding it or all at once?
So I'll do research if it's like on the Nordic illustrations, like when people are commissioning, actual things from mythology or from history. I'll do research to look up exactly what those sigils were to make sure that I'm doing them correctly. But I won't draw them out. Everything goes originally on the picture so that you can form fit it to the person's body, whether that's a huge muscular man or a beautiful woman or a warrior woman, whatever that is. And then the tattoos will be more feminine for, as they need to be, etc. Like the tattoo for the one for Griselda K, she specified it, the specifics are in the book and they're described very beautifully. So I want to make sure that those were right. So that's the only one where I drew a tattoo first. But even then, I drew the leg and then I drew the tattoo on the leg to send it to her. And that was a separate illustration that she used internally in the book. But that was me making sure, hey, is this cool? And she liked it. So I was able to put it on the cover piece.
Now, I have to wonder, on her head, are those wings coming off her back, the back of her head, or is that just a hairstyle?
It's a pixie cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a cartoon, Earth's Mightiest Heroes from, I don't know, 10.
Oh, the Wasp.
Yeah.
The Wasp,
it just looked awesome. Best pixie cut ever. So had to channel that. She said pixie cut. I was like, okay, we got to do the best one.
Yeah, I like that. Had to pick up the kid. Hey, better late than never, Grace Haley.
Hey, I got 4 kids running around out there. Oddly quiet, which means it's going to be a mess when I get out there.
Well, you've heard our kid out here going tick, 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 tick. Okay, let's see if I've gotten all the pictures here. Let's see. Oh, that's it. Those are all his pictures. But I'm sure you could find more on his website.
Yeah, there's something like 213 illustrations on the website right now. And
Okay.
always doing more.
Okay.
And open for commissions as well.
Okay. He asked super nicely before adding them if not originally requested. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I love working with Griselda, man. That's super fun.
Good. Yeah, I've seen, we've got her books and the illustrations are just outstanding.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Next commission, My Little Pony, Friendship Was Magic, Dark Lovecraft, Smoked Turkey, Swiss Cheese, Pudgy Hungry Now.
You joke, but when I was little, there was this really pretty girl that liked My Little Pony. So I used to watch that show with her.
I can imagine making it into a My Little Pony Lovecraft thing. Sandra says, kids being quiet, never a good thing. The guy that asks, when you do an image, do you have a full idea of what it will be, or do you do the main image and then decide on a background?
I guess it's individual to the piece. So like on commissions, like a lot of the authors will be very, very specific, particularly fantasy authors, because they have so much going on in their genre and they want to make sure that they're conveying exactly what's going to be in the book. So like a lot of that, again, with this one from the Magi Chronicles, she wanted Neptune in the background. So Neptune is in the background. But then I was able to pick, which it's always super cool when they let the illustrator kind of have some control in there, because you're going to get it to pop a little bit in how it forms. But I was able to pick the which scenes. She had 3 scenes from her book that she wanted illustrated in the border, and I was able to pick all the rest. So I had a blast with that. But like, another extreme is there's an illustration on the website that is lovingly referred to as Shoggoth Happens, which is an inside joke from when we would play Mansions of Madness. Anytime a Shoggoth would come out, it would kill everybody. So Shoggoth Happens. So, but in that, I made the mistake of I completely illustrated the investigator in the foreground. And the investigator is it's probably like 95% negative space. So like all very shadow noir detective. So once I started drawing the Shoggoth, I was like, oh, I can't use any negative space at all in this background. So it's it's like a 200-hour Shoggoth of just eyes and details and everything in there. And, that wasn't a conscious decision from the get-go at all. I was like, oh, I trapped myself into this. It just depends.
One time I'd like to hear how the two of you, how you and Grace Haley got together, and how she had you decide how she decided your illustrations were going to be. But that could be for another time. Grace Haley, if you'd be,
I'd love to hear her perspective on it. For mine, it was pretty simple. My buddy Todd married this beautiful woman, and I guess he showed her some pictures when she was looking for an artist, and I got lucky enough. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Not right now, but maybe another time we can bring Grace Haley and you on the panel and talk about the whole process.
That would be a blast.
What do you think, Grace Haley? Okay. Snort says, My Little Pony, The Knacker's Yard. And Legata says, in the image, it clings like cobwebs. Is the page words in the background actually part of the story?
Oh, so that's part of the story, yes. But that's part of one of my stories. It's all written in detail. So I do that in a few pieces that are going to be illustrations of that book, where, and I guess it's kind of an insider thing too, because what's written in there probably won't be exactly like that by the time everything's all finished. But it's, it's part of the illustration permanently.
And Grace Haley says, who? Yeah. She's disavowing any knowledge.
That's fair.
Let's see. Okay, she does agree. That would be fun. We'll figure something. We'll figure a time to bring both of you on.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions out there from the chat? Let's see. And let me get to, let's go back to where he put the, could you type your website again in the private chat? StreamYards doesn't seem very cooperative, and nope, got it. Never mind. There you go. Yes, his amazing artwork can be found at www.cezacharo.com.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I can find the page with those exact lines on it in your story that illustration is from.
Oh, that's cool. Pretty much. Some of the words might be different just because I think Gaiman said that he's not as great of a writer as he is an editor. And I've definitely feel those words. Like the first time I write something, and those aren't from the first draft at all. That's probably from an 8th or 9th draft. But like all of these stories have gone through. I mean, some of them dozens, and some of them way more than that. It's poetry, so I kind of use it like artwork, where I'm sculpting the words down and making sure that it's as succinct and clear an image or convoluted an image as I want it to be.
Okay.
But yes, you'll be able to go through the story and find where that's from, and the illustration is going to be in the book near where those words are.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're probably at a spot we can start wrapping it up. Charlie, this has been great, and we're going to have you. Wait. So just like at horror, it's the Mandela effect, and see the changes right before your eyes.
Pretty much, and that gets me all the time too, because I swear some things are not what they are today.
So you've got your novel, you continue to get your commissions. Any big project that you've got coming along in the future other than those?
There's a couple that I can't talk about yet, so I'll focus on the ones I can. But yeah, I always enjoy working with Cameron Curran, Eric Gardner. They have and Jonathan Chance, of course. They all have films in the works that they're putting into festivals that I have illustrations for. Novel-wise, Grisella K is whooping butt with her series, and I'm always excited to do more of those. Mm-hmm. Other than that, just open commissions, and then all the artwork I've done is available for sale on my website. If there's originals, if there's illustrations that you see on there that the illustrations or the originals for aren't on the website, just send me a message and ask, because again, full-time job and kids, so I don't upload all the artwork that I have for sale, but there is a lot on there. There's like 200 plus that you can customize your prints. There's augmented reality on there, which is pretty crazy, where you can it loads like a room with a couch on it, and you can size what the artwork's going to generally look like behind, in your room, things like that. But yeah, if the illustration you're looking for isn't on there, just message me. Yeah, because I know a lot of people come up in conventions and they'll see something that isn't on the website because I had a brain fart and didn't load it.
Okay. Snorter Poopa says, again, I'm jealous. I've tried to do illustrations, but I keep drawing blanks.
I've tried to be a bear. It didn't work out.
Yeah. Sandra, yes. Kitty table time. Okay, so again, please look up his work, and please go to Grace Haley K to look up her great books on Amazon. So we're going to start wrapping it up. And
I just want to say thanks to Legatus and Mike and Cam especially. The questions were amazing.
Yes.
All you guys, really, really cool.
Yeah, questions were awesome. Questions were absolutely awesome. Very insightful, and brought out some great discussion. And your artwork's amazing.
Thank
your
you.
Artwork's good thing I had you put some of that out there. Okay, so let's do. Now you know what. Now you know what happens. Okay, so now we're going to do show notes for the month of October. Next week, we're going to have Anti-Derivative Jill on the 16th, Sunday. We're going to have Sunday Just because I will be at a conference over the weekend. I will on the 7th, on the 14th, I have a book signing in Morgantown. And then we have a conference, and then I'll be back, and we'll have Just Cuz on the 16th. And hopefully I'll have some pictures from the conference. On the 19th, we're going to have Brandon, the anime guy, talking about anime. On the 29th, keep marking down your books. Put your calendars there. Be prepared. We're going to have the King Dolphin TV big birthday anniversary bash. I'm going to, it's my birthday that weekend, so I'm going to combine it with the 1 year anniversary that King Dolphin TV came out. So hopefully we'll have our usual hijinks. Those people who I have interviewed before are more than invited to come on over and say hello and wish luck and congratulations for the channel. And looking forward to it. Plans are afoot. And I'm scared of a few of those plans. Let's see. Pudgy says, show notes, dun dun. Show notes, dun dun. Serious music, yes. We're not doing the song today. Let's see. Wrap it up like these creatures on the Dunwich Horror do to that girl. Come here, my tasty.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Will there be plenty of punch cake for the celebrations team? We don't know. Good question. All right, so thank you all for coming. I'm going to again remind everybody who is here. We had some new people. Please make sure you have subscribed. Lots of fun coming up. We had our amazing first in, last out, and great questions by Legatus Legionii. We had, okay, I'm going to do it. Da-da. Da-da. Snorter Poopas! Q-bar. Snorter Poopas was here as Wrench, and also he had some great questions. We had John Rendell. And then our chatters. Thank you all for coming and interacting. This is what I like doing here on King Dolphin TV Wednesdays. We had Short Film Sensei. We had Michael Luker. We had Pudgy Hedgehog. We had Matt G. We had Grace Saley K. We're going to get together, the two of you, on a panel. We had Pierre Kelly, and we had Lord Thoth, and we had Matt G. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for interacting. And everybody, just because we'll be this Sunday, so keep that. No, just because this week will be on Saturday. On the 16th, we will have it on the Sunday. So Pudgy says, bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye, Mr. Ike. Bye, Pudgy. Snort says, take care of every human, ferret, and hedgehog. And good night, Snoopy, wherever you is. He's been around. He has been around. Okay, well, everybody, see you Saturday for Just Cuz. We will have lots of fun, as usual. And you take care, be safe, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, y'all.
This segment is brought to you by TheDolphinBoys.com.